What's going on YouTube? This is Fish Freak Phil, bringing you an update on my Cobalt Aquatics C-Vue 40. Well, made a few changes in the tank. As you can see, that big white rock in the back there kind of added that. I've been actually planning on doing that for some time. I just never did. Kind of let things kind of like the tank at first, like where it was, but I ultimately decided to add this rock. Cool thing about this structure, it's actually got a hole running through the entire length of the rock. It's more of a, it's almost like a tube, this rock, the way it's formed. But I'm not sure if I'm gonna put anything on there right now. But I think eventually I might add some zoas to that rock. I don't know, we'll see what happens. But everything is looking pretty good. My Duncan coral, as you can see, is not happy because I've been dosing the Polyp Lab Medic. It's one of the things I do whenever I get new fish. Along with feeding the Garlic Extreme, I feed this with every feeding now to help fight ick. I'm no longer removing fish out of the tank. Hopefully, won't have any extreme outbreaks. But with feeding this, they've been pretty good in terms of shaking any signs of ick on them, and been doing pretty good. Right now, in terms of stock, I have two flash harasses, one a McCosker, the other one is a Carpenter flash harass, two dwarf angels, my rusty, as you can see right there, and my coral beauty, and my cardinal, black and white cardinal fish. And I have a, whereas he's always hiding, there's this starry blenny, and unfortunately my I forgot it's called, bullseye dragonet, I forgot what it's called, but you can see his tail there. But he's been under attack as of late, so hopefully I'll get him eating, and hopefully that'll all grow back. Leave him alone a little bit. And it's all come from the combination of my starry blenny. I think it was just a single attack, and then the other, my rusty angel, has been pecking at it. But seemed to have left him. Is seeming to leaving him alone now. But we'll see what happens. He's been hiding a little bit more often now. Usually he's out and about, but ever since that, he's kind of been shy, kind of hiding himself for good reason, probably. And also, I have a yellow neon goby. He's usually down in there. There you see him peeking his little head out, thinking, "Oh, get out of here." There he goes. Make your presence known, buddy. Come on out. He darts in and out every time it's food time. These guys are getting, you start to see a little food aggression because I haven't fed them yet. Outside of that, everything's looking pretty good. I'm gonna add another pump, a circulation pump to the back there, kind of blowing this way and towards the rock and towards the back. But that's gonna be a continuous. Not gonna be pulsing like these two other pumps. It's gonna be a continuous flow going back that way. Outside of that, everything's looking pretty good. Got my water. Making pretty well. Algae, as you can see, is receded big time. So that's good. Outside of that, corals are looking great. I started, now you can see a lot of algae on the glass there, and there's some on the show you the front side of the glass. You can see that white sheen there. Reason being, because I started feeding my tanks for the corals quite heavily, actually. But I have to say, ever since doing that, like, there's been an explosion of growth on some of these corals that I did not like. This zoa is freaking exploded. Like, look at that. It's doing really well. These aquapores are doing well too. Um, I just pasted that there, or stuck that there. That's gonna be its spot. So hopefully, I'm looking for that to kind of grow all over this rock here. Maybe make its way up. We'll see. I'm sure it eventually will. Everything is looking pretty dope. Duncan, like I said, is not happy because I'm dosing the polyp lab, but I will, as you can see, how many heads it has now. Like I started, now mind you, this thing started with 2 heads on there, and there was just an explosion of growth on there. It's not happy, so this is probably my last evening of dosing it. And I dose every few weeks, and I continue to get to feed with the Garlic Extreme, Kent's Garlic Extreme, and that seems to help me in terms of ick and stuff. For my corals, I'm dosing Kent's 2-part as well as the Aqua Vitro Fuel. In terms of feeding, I feed the, I first dose with the Polyp Lab Booster, and then I follow up by, and I broadcast dose. I'm not sitting there, dosing directly to each individual coral. I'm basically broadcasting the food into the flow and letting it do what it does in nature, pick up its food the way it would. And I'm also I think it's called Coral Gumbo, and I forgot who makes the frozen food, but I will also put that, mix that in with the reefroids, and I dose everything after 15 minutes after I dose with the Polyp Lab, with the Polyp Booster, and it's been working. And I do that. I just started this, so I'm doing that probably twice a week, and with the 2-part and the fuel, I'm doing that twice a week, coinciding with I don't do it the same days. I do alternate days, and I break up the days. On some days I don't do anything at all. But yeah, that's why you couldn't see the algae a little bit build up on the sides there, the tank, and on the glass. And I continue to feed the way I normally feed. I am heavy-handed in feeding, but things are stabilizing in terms of algae. So if you don't remember, back there it was like a garden. Look at it now. I don't do any manual removal, but I gotta say the starry blenny is a beast when it comes to eating algae. These things they're herbivores to begin with. So, but man, any of those type of blennies, I forgot the other name of it's basically a variation of the starry blenny. But yeah, they're herbivores, but they will eat frozen foods. Don't get it twisted. I feed, and he comes out like the rest of the fish, ready to dig in. So I mean, if you don't have a whole lot of algae in your tank, it will find food as long as it's. I think mine does, at least. Every animal is different. This one definitely comes out for frozen food. As a matter of fact, he's probably one of the most aggressive eaters of them all. He'll shoot out from wherever he's hiding. He's always hiding someplace, and there's this face, kind of just stone face, is sitting there. Does you see that? Look at that. He's like, yeah, it's not food time, buddy. Calm down. Yeah, so anyway, just giving you guys an update. Everything's looking pretty good. Get ready to do my little water change. I'm only doing about 4 gallons once a week. That's that's basically 10% for my tank, and that seems to be pretty good for what I need, for what my tank needs. And I think once a month I may up to about a 20 gallon. It's like a 20% water change, so that'd be like 8 gallons for me. But that's how things are going. Anyway, just giving you guys an update on my Cobalt Aquatics C-Vue 40. Do your research, try things out, and see what happens. Later, y'all.